today we are at my desk and I've got some stationery to show you and a notebook to decorate. It's really just going to be kind of a general video showing off some pretty sweet stuff. Check that out. And just showing you kind of my desk and what I use to study, to write, all that fun stuff. So I'm going to switch to a top-down view, and I hope that you are able to relax and enjoy. Welcome to my desk. I've got a notebook here. It's purple. It's a weird shade of purple, admittedly. And so I'm gonna cover it with some stickers. You can see that I've already gotten started. I'm just kind of putting these stickers all over it to give it like a collage cover. Got this tin here. It's got all kinds of different patterns. It's kind of cool. It's like scrap paper. So I'm going to be using that. But first, I'm going to show off some of my materials and my stuff. So I don't know if you remember study blurs, but aesthetics were going strong on the early internet, and I was not immune to getting into it. The problem is, like, no matter how hard I wanted to be that person, I never could, and I've always just reverted back to the basics. And when it comes to stationery and office supplies and stuff, the basics kind of do it for me every time. So, like, I've had moleskin journals and stuff, or however you pronounce that. I don't know how to pronounce that. But nothing beats a HB pencil and a notebook. So this is my pencil sharpener that I use to sharpen my various pencils. I like this one, America's pencil, but this also works. This is a generic pencil from the drugstore that I got. This pen I just found this, but it's cute. You click the tail and the pen comes out. So I thought that was super cute. I also have this eraser from Daiso. It's just really soft and spongy. Air in Kids with some writing I don't understand, but this is pretty cool. So that's kind of the basics. I also have from Daiso some colored pens that I used to write with. These were $2 and they're super basic but really good. You know, they get the job done. So there's those. And then I also have this calculator. I forgot where I got it, but let's see if it'll, there we go. So it came on 5 times 5 equals 25. Look at that, it works. Let's go 1 plus 2 equals 3. That's great. Bling thing. How cool is this? I can whip this out in a restaurant, calculate some things, look very busy, very important with this item, I would say. This is like my calculator. And then I've got random jars of random pens that I found or collected over years and years. Like, this is a really fun pen, or pencil, sorry. See how big the lead is? I got this from a stationery store in Little Tokyo in Los Angeles. And it's really fun to draw with this. Like, make really big drawings. I don't endorse smoking, but this is a cigarette pencil, and it was 99 or 98 cents, and I had to have it. This also came from the stationery store in Little Tokyo. I've also got a pencil from Field Notes. This is the DDC brand. I used to collect Field Notes. I've also got like a Field Notes pen, and I've got all kinds of things. Here's another pen. These are really cool. This is one of my favorite pencils of all time. I had to tape it at the end because the eraser fell out. So if I tip it upside down, the lead comes right out, but look at this. Isn't that nice? This is from Pentel. Graph Gear 500. That's a really special pencil. These are just kind of random and all over the place. If I see a pencil or pen like on the ground, I'll usually pick it up. Just really like writing utensils. I've got like a bunch of bins for different things. These are more my colored pens, but these I also stole from my girlfriend. She was gonna get rid of them, and I said don't get rid of them. They're just kind of fun pencils. I just really like the sounds they make because they're wrapped in this paper. Yeah, they're just kind of fun. Also in this are these kinds of pens with colored ink. I've got a lot of different ones and highlighters. So these are just different highlighters that I've got. Essentially, that's kind of it for my stationery. As an example, I'm trying to understand this book, Hyperobjects, which is Tim Morton's, I guess, system, or a particular part of his a system of ontology where he talks about his conception of hyperobjects, which is objects that are too big to be kind of comprehended at once or seen at once, like a climate change. But I was really struggling with this book, so I put it down. And I went back to try and find some foundational understanding of ontology or metaphysics to begin with, so that way I could better understand, and I ended up having to just kind of start from a really early beginning. So I started with ancient Greece, and so I'll write in pencil or pen. Sometimes I'll use color to break it up, kind of whatever is around, and I just take notes the old school way, and that kind of works for me. I'd like to make a video where I continue to take more notes on this subject matter and maybe look through some of my books to help me with this. So, okay, that's pretty much my stationery and my little setup here. It's very mobile. I can take it with me anywhere. Just a pencil and a notebook, and I'm ready to go. Now I'd like to decorate the cover of my notebook. You can see I've got a long way to go, so I'm going to decorate this with stickers and kind of talk while I do it. Okay, I've got my notebook and I have my stickers, my tin of stickers here, and so feel free to just hang out with me while I decorate this notebook. It's gonna be kind of random stuff all over the place, but I want to talk about notebooks and collecting. I want to talk about school and learning, all kinds of things. I'm just gonna ramble, so feel free to tune this out if you want, just put it in the background. But okay, I guess the first thing I wanted to mention was when I was younger, I used to really collect notebooks, and I guess I shouldn't even say younger, because I was doing this, up until a few years ago, but okay, I actually readjusted, but I want to talk about how up until a few years ago I collected notebooks, and I made this meme once. I lost it, but I made this meme that was when your inability to creatively generate manifests as a notebook collection. And it was essentially just pointing out the fact that sometimes having stationery and collecting notebooks is this weird, it kind of satisfies this feeling of productivity or whatever without you actually having to be productive at all. And yeah, so I made a joke about that, but it's very real. Sticker. Yeah, it's very real. And there's something very satisfying about the blank page and the sense of possibility. That you're kind of starting over. And the key to that meme is basically the fact that you might start over even though you didn't finish anything, and that notebooks can represent a perpetual beginning or never finishing. So I don't know if you relate to that, but that was me for for a long time, and eventually I just stopped allowing myself to have nice stationery, and something about that worked. Where now I just have basic stuff that I get from this notebook is literally from Rite Aid. It's from like the drugstore, because I have no business owning like a huge thick leather journal. You know those ones that are almost the size of books? I used to freak out over those. I really wanted one, and I was like, I'm gonna write a novel. I'm gonna write a novel in it, and I did not. I have not done that, but having these drugstore notebooks actually works. They're not intimidating, and I just fill them up. I like these two stickers. This one's like an old map, and this is like a kind of a diagram of a city. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So, anyway, yeah, I don't really collect high-end stuff anymore. That's kind of the point. There is something eternal and satisfying, though, about the classics. Just, I remember going back to school and getting like new Crayola, new spiral notebook, just a new pencil case. All that stuff was like, wow, it was so exhilarating, and the smell of it, like I just remember being able to sharpen my new pencils and put those pointy like pyramid erasers on it. The best feeling. And I really liked like juicy, like thick, kind of decadent mechanical pencils and like grips. Do you remember pencil grips? Those are incredible. I loved the foam ones. Yeah, I'm so into that. I'm still into that, and I love using it still. I'm making a big mess here. Yep. Oh, here's a cool paper. Here's a cool one. Let's go. Check this out. It's like an old page. It's like an old page from like an almanac or something. I really like this one. I'm gonna use that. And this blue one is kind of cute. And then this is fun. This is like fake worn. It's like worn cardboard or something. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's nice. Check it out. It's like a piece of paper. Okay. Yeah. I love stickers. This is looking good so far. It's looking like collagey and rustic or something. Okay. Perfection. Perfection. I remember loving school so much. Like, just, I loved being there. And I still love to learn, and I love stationery and all that. It always feels good to, like, sit down and do stuff like this. Some of the aesthetics of intellectualism at this point are getting a little out of control. They're getting a little, I don't know, they're highly Eurocentric, and I get it, but also, I don't know, a pencil, like a classic HB pencil, that's the real That's the real aesthetic, you know what I mean? A school bus. Heck yeah. Like, check that out, you know? I really like kind of alternative intellectual aesthetics. Something that's big right now is very, like, kind of girl boss stuff. And stationery being, like, very beige. And a lot of highlighters and color and stuff. You can kind of contrast that with the brown Oxford academics. I mean, I don't know what you would call this, but this is the wave that I'm kind of riding right now, and I find it very liberating and refreshing. You know, it's really hard though to learn outside of school. Like, I call these my self-study notebooks, because that's what they are. I'm just studying by myself, and it's really hard to organize information and figure out what to learn. Like, I usually start with a book that I'm trying to read, that I'm curious about, that I don't understand. And then I try, that's the center of like my web that I go out from and learn from there. And that's kind of the best way that I know how to do that. But it's definitely hard to develop your mind outside of school because the resources are there, right? Like, you can learn anything on YouTube. I do it all the time. You can learn anything you want on YouTube, but the curriculum is not there, the organization is not there, and the being forced to learn something is not there, really. It becomes easy to be distracted, and everything you learn isn't really integrated into the system. It's just kind of disembodied, but it's worth doing anyway. I really like the Andrew Huberman podcast. That's a place that I learn from a lot. And I like the Lex Friedman podcast. I like Sam Harris too, because he is such an excellent speaker. He is the master of clarity in his dialogue, but he paywalls a good chunk of his content, and I know he says that if you want it for free, you can email this email and get it for free. I got it for free once, but it was temporary, and I tried to do it again. It was confusing, so I've kind of just given up listening to Sam Harris in a robust way. But I do listen to his kind of abridged free content sometimes. Another place I like to learn is through books, specifically from Verso Publishing. I should make a video on Verso because so much of my nonfiction is from them. They're really behind the production of a lot of, I really don't know what to call it, but it's like contemporary philosophy. In that, I don't even know what postmodernism is, but then this is like postmodern or something. Basically, this school of thought that, like, you know, we radically need to embrace non-human intelligence and become one, but it's not hippie. It's like, see, this is why I self-study. I need a better vocabulary for this, but it's essentially taking a lot of things that have been talked about in philosophy, but kind of moving away from the quote-unquote rational. The biggest fly in the world just flew in from outside, so I closed the door. He is a freak. I don't want that fly in here. What a nerd. He doesn't read at all, so he's not allowed in the study. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, this style of books is essentially critical literature about society and the climate and stuff, which I like. And I'm still in a place where I'm figuring out how I feel about the conclusions of critical theory. Like, critical theory follows certain methods that are very emotional, in my opinion. They're very emotional. And sometimes I agree with the conclusion, but not with the emotionality, or I wonder, like, the validity of the emotionality. I'm not sure, but there's a certain flavor of emotional literature that I read because no one else is really diving that deep into these things. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, I have an example for you, what I mean by that. There's a book called The Conspiracist Manifesto that I want to make a video about. But in talking about the pandemic, and in talking about the government's response to the pandemic, the US government, the French government, there's a line in that book that says, "If only we could see the world through Kafka's eyes." That is such a huge eye roll to me. What an emotional I just eye roll, gag, but I also get it, right? Because Kafka, a lot of his horror comes from these kind of systems that you are stuck in, you can't control. They're too big to understand. They are horrific. They kind of consume people. They eat people. And kind of the existential horror of being, an individual and being stuck and victim to this. So when they said that sentence in the book, I thought that is so annoying, but I also understand they're using hyperbole, emotional language to make a point. It still annoys me either way. So whatever this genre is, this type of literature is, I have a love-hate relationship with it, but it's I can't get enough. Okay, check this out. This is where we are so far in our project. It's looking not bad. There's still some purple I want to cover up. Check it out. The back is just, I like that plain. So I'm going to cover up this little edge really quick. And then I think I'm just going to be done, I guess. I think it looks good. Okay. Yeah, looking great. I'm going to do this edge too. Along here. Okay. Anyway. So, I love learning. I love reading books that challenge me, that I might not agree with. I was reading more Ted Kaczynski the other day, and he was making me so angry. Like, the conception of, the way he conceptualizes the left, like, the problems with the left, is so BS to me. It's full of flaws. It's actually shocking. The way he can argue about technology to me is spot on, but then he gets to kind of the social politics part and blows it, in my opinion. And it's not his conclusions I'm arguing with, although I disagree with his conclusions about the left. But it's not even that. It's the way he's arguing is so emotional, but it's disguised as logical, which is even more infuriating. At least these books are not disguising their emotionality. They're just, very emotional. Okay, here we go. Alright, check this out. Ta-da! Look. It's done. It's a collaged cover. So, ta-da. So I opened up. Yeah. Not bad. Looks like an old lady quilt. That's great. That's perfect. I think this notebook is ready to go. Ready for me to keep using. Okay, I propped it up. Okay, let's get our old friend back in the game, in the mix. I love this thing. It's the bling thing. Look how shiny it is. much for hanging out with me in my little office today and decorating my notebook with me. Yeah, hope you enjoyed checking out my stationery, and I will see you in the next video. Maybe we'll crack this thing open, take some notes. But I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and that you come back for the next video.